Mark, thanks very much. Joined by Senator Ted Kaufman, the Democrat from Delaware, who's been pushing hard for financial regulation. Thank you for the time. Appreciate it.
Enjoy being on, Peter.
You're about to hit the recess without getting this done. How worried are you about getting to this magic number of 60?
I'm concerned. I mean, but that's the way it's been this whole Congress. I mean, every vote, it's been how do we get to the 60 votes? So it's a continuing problem with just about everything. So we'll see, and I think we'll ultimately get it, because I really think that the vast majority of Americans think we have to do something about what happened on Wall Street and how we practically destroyed the financial system, not just in the United States, but the whole world. And so many people out of work and losing their houses. I just think that I don't see how the Republicans can hold out and say, well, I'm going to vote against this, because the issues they're coming up with are not really central to the whole idea of what we have to do.
Let's talk about 4 senators we know of on the fence right now. Olympia Snowe, Chuck Grassley, Scott Brown, and one Democrat, Maria Cantwell. What's Ted Kaufman doing to try to bring them on board?
Not me. That's not really my job. That's for the leadership to be doing. I think they're talking to each one of them. I know Maria Cantwell. I've been, she's just really concerned about some of the things that are not in the bill with too big to fail, which are a lot of my concerns. We just come out differently. I think it's better to have this half a loaf than it is to let this go by. And so Maria's got to think it through. I wouldn't be surprised if Maria ends up going with us.
And again, some of her concerns are the same concerns you've raised throughout the course of this. Are you convinced this bill is indeed tough enough?
Well, no. I mean, it's tough enough, but is it as tough as I want it? Absolutely not. I mean, it's not the bill that I write. But one of the things you learn as being a senator is different than being God. You know, you don't get to do everything just the way you want it. And so I know that. No, I would have some things in here that would do more to go back to what we did before. I mean, I feel like a real conservative on this issue, Peter. I want to go back to the way things were just 10 or 15 years ago. I want to go back to what we did after 1929 when we had the massive meltdown, and the Congress actually wrote tough laws, Glass-Steagall, separating commercial banks from investment banks, which we then changed in 1999. That's what I want to go back to. That's what I'd like to do. But the other side, as I say, you don't always get what you want. I think there's enough good things in here. We're finally going to do something good about derivatives and other things, and so I think that this is a good bill. But no, I would have a bill different from this one.
In terms of those good things, what do you think is the most significant change? Is it the derivative section here? I mean, there's a big focus today here on the Hill with the Financial Crisis Inquiry Commission. We're going to have oversight of over-the-counter derivatives for the first time.
Yeah, exactly right, and I think that's really important, and making sure that people know what they're trading for so it doesn't get out of hand. I think also, we've got a modified Volcker rule. It's not what I want. It's not even close to what I want, but I think at least we're beginning to realize it's dangerous for commercial banks to be involved in proprietary trading. We've got the regulators. That was my problem. Basically, this is a bill, the basic philosophical difference I have is this is a bill that basically says leave it to the regulators. Congress shouldn't pass legislation like we did with Glass-Steagall. We should give it to the regulators, give them the power, and have them do it. And I just would rather have us pass a bill, then give it to the regulators and set the line. But there's a lot of it in the hands of the regulators. I have great respect for the regulators that we have now.
But they dropped the ball during the crisis.
But they dropped, well, usually different people. I mean, like, for instance, look at the Securities Exchange Commission. I based the Securities Exchange Commission, the approach there was we don't really have to do anything. I mean, they complain about Bernie Madoff, and it's like, oh, I don't know, we're not going to do anything about that. So we got a good, a different kind of regulators. My concern was that the Congress should write legislation not for the next 2 years or not for the regulators we have now, but for the regulators for a generation. And Glass-Steagall was passed in 1933. It lasted for 50 years. During those 50 years, we didn't have these kind of financial problems. We had financial problems, but not these kind. So I really want to do that. But I think we have good regulators now. We give them the responsibility to do it, and they'll do a good job. The question is, new president comes in. President believes more like President Bush that really we don't need any regulators, and then we're back to where we were before, and that would be very, very bad. But in terms of if we can pass this, I think good things will happen.
This gets done when you come back?
Sure. I hope so. I think yes. Oh yeah. I think we'll get it done. Again, I think there's just the one thing overwhelmingly I see when I talk to at home Republicans, Democrats, Independents. We got to do something to straighten this out so it never happens again. We can't have any risk that this happens. Our markets can't stand having another meltdown like this, because our markets are key to our success. One of the keys to our success is people come from all over the world to be in America's markets, and right now they have some real questions about the credibility of our markets, and so we got to do this and do it right now. And most Americans really do understand that.
Senator Ted Kaufman, as always, appreciate you joining us here on Bloomberg.
Hey, Peter, thanks for having me.